So on February 20th, 2013, Sony is supposedly going to be revealing the first details about the PlayStation 4. Now, whether or not we're actually going to get a release date for this console is sort of up there in the air because we're not sure what they're actually going to be revealing, but hopefully it is the next generation PlayStation because it's been a while since we've had a new console, and I thought it would be exciting to see something new. And this is old news, you probably all know this, and I'm not here to discuss all these leaked details. I have a question for you today, and that question is, will Call of Duty survive the next generation of consoles? And I was thinking this because right now, I feel as if the only reason that Call of Duty is really successful is because of the fact that it has decent graphics. I'm not going to go out there and say it has the best graphics in the world because it doesn't, but so many people tend to complain about the Call of Duty graphics, and I feel like I'm the only one out there thinking to myself, what the hell is wrong with the Call of Duty graphics? Yeah, it's running on an old engine, but you have to come to the realization that if the graphics were any better, that the game would most likely not be able to run at 60 frames per second, and that is one of the main selling points for Call of Duty and Activision when a new title releases. It gives you that buttery smooth gameplay, and it's awesome. And I feel as if that is one of the major reasons that Call of Duty is still successful, because not a lot of games actually run at 60 frames per second on consoles. I know that on PC you can get up to like 300, probably like 1,000 frames per second. I don't know, I'm no PC guru over here, but I know that Call of Duty is really successful because of the smooth gameplay and the fast-paced gameplay that it supplies us with. And there aren't many games out there right now on the current generation consoles that can actually provide this for the players. And I feel like in the next generation of consoles that's not really going to be a problem for game developers anymore. Game developers that aren't Call of Duty developers, because with the more powerful processors and all this new technology, I feel like game developers will have a lot more to work with, and I feel like running a game at 60 plus frames per second really won't be an issue anymore. I feel like it's going to be a standard for games to actually be running at 60 frames per second, and I think that it's going to bring a little bit of competition to the table for Infinity Ward and Treyarch and Sledgehammer, because I think that if more games will be running at 60 frames per second on the PlayStation 4 and the next Xbox, whatever you want to call it, the Xbox 720, that it's just going to take away the sales for the Call of Duty franchise. And I know it's going to take a while for the Call of Duty franchise to actually die down, but I think that it won't survive long, to be honest, in the next generation of consoles, because I think there's going to be a new title coming out that's just going to, take the throne from Call of Duty. It's been, what has it been, 6 years since Call of Duty's, really become a big thing. Call of Duty 4 hit the market in 2007, and now it's 2013, so yeah, 6 years, I think. I'm not really sure. Yeah, 6 years. I don't know what I'm talking about. 2007 to 2013, right? Yeah, 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, I don't know why I was having so much trouble with that, but Call of Duty can really only hold the throne for so long before another big game comes along. If you remember Guitar Hero, I know that it was also published by Activision, but this doesn't mean that the next, king of video games is going to be published by Activision, but I know that Guitar Hero was the king of games for a while, and it wasn't just rhythm games that it was the king of. It was dominating the market for a while. I loved Guitar Hero 3. And then Activision ended up, publishing a game every year. And actually, no, not every year. They were publishing making a new Guitar Hero like every 3 or 4 months, I remember. They had like 7 Guitar Heroes, I think. And I think that's the amount of Call of Duties, multiplayer Call of Duties that we're up to right now. I know that we're on Call of Duty 9, I believe, but I think that in the next generation of consoles that something is going to overrun Call of Duty. And I don't know if it's going to be a first-person shooter. I don't know if it's going to be a rhythm game. I don't know if it's going to be a role-playing game. But I think that Call of Duty will last a few titles in the next generation of consoles, and that might be it. I'm not sure. That's just my prediction. I don't have any, real sturdy information as to why I think this, or sturdy background information. But I think it's going to happen. And my guess right now is that when the next generation of consoles actually release, I believe that Activision is actually going to be working with the console, or console producers. I don't really know. Developers. There we go. I think they're going to be working a deal with them so that a Call of Duty title can be available in a package with the new consoles as they release, because that would maximize their sales and make them a lot of money. Just take a look at Wii Sports. When the Wii released, essentially every single Wii console came with the Wii Sports game, and it actually ended up being the most successful Wii game of all time, just because of the fact that I think the entire lifespan of the Wii, every console was coming with that game. So if you think about it, if it's across both consoles, if Activision goes up to Microsoft and Sony and says, hey, we'll make a deal with you, let us put our new Call of Duty game in a package with your PS4 or your Xbox 720, and we'll both be making money. It'll boost your sales and it'll boost our sales. So that's going to boost Activision's Call of Duty sales a lot, but that can only last so long, because if Activision continues to publish a Call of Duty game every year, then this supposed deal is only going to last a year for Microsoft and Activision, or Sony and Activision, whoever they supposedly make this deal that I made up with. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I'm FMJ. I'm out. Peace.